Dumalang again, members of the media. I appreciate your patience. You know that we were en route from UJ. The President was collecting his accreditation. I'm not sure if President got accredited. Yeah. Did you? You got accredited? Oh, okay, just and he's a voting delegate. And we appreciate your patience. We're going to get straight into it. This is a briefing on our third National People's Assembly, just the state of readiness. Our Secretary General will do that briefing. Just to let everybody know, our Deputy Secretary General is unable to join the rest of the officials today, as she is holding the fort at UJ as we finalize the delegates who are coming in to finalize the accreditation process. But we do have our Treasurer General, our National Chair, of course, our SG, and our Commander-in-Chief. Can I hand over to you, SG, for your briefing?
Thank you very much, Commissar Spokesperson, and let's greet the members of the media this afternoon. And I'm told that outgoing spokesperson. She's outgoing, yes.
Outgoing.
Thank you for coming through, and I'm told that you registered yesterday and everything went smooth, and all of you are welcome. And we greet the outgoing president and the outgoing officials of the EFF. Today marks the beginning of the Third National People's Assembly of the Economic Freedom Fighters. And we can announce that now we are fully prepared for this assembly. We are ready, members of the media and people of South Africa. The organization has secured the venue, which is Johannesburg Expo Center here in Nasrec, and our conference today, it's at 12, we are registering, and it will run from tomorrow the 13th until the 15th on Sunday. The venue, it consists of the main plenary hall where the reports are going to be presented, and then we've got the business lounge, we've got the media lounge. As you can see, this is your home from today up until Sunday when we're done, and then we've got 13 commission rooms, and our commissions are going to be in this format. We're going to have a commission on organizational character and redesign, land and agrarian reform, on gender struggles, media, communications and the battle of ideas, health and social development, education, Pan-Africanism and progressive internationalism, the economy, state capacity, justice, peace and security, sports, arts and culture, governance, and lastly, financing the revolution, because the revolution must be financed. These venues have been equipped with all the necessary equipment and ready to receive our delegates. Our media operations are ready and they're in place and functional, as we're all sitting here, and we can be the witness of that. The organization, we've received all the delegates from all the 9 provinces. They've arrived, they've registered, so we can tell you now that about 90% of the delegates, they have been registered. We registered in the few buses of the delegates around Soweto because they were relaxed to say, we're around here. So that is the last delegation. The CCT has been registered, PCTs, RCTs, all of them have registered. The buses, they're all safe and sound. No incident or accident that have been reported. We've been monitoring them throughout the whole night. So everyone is safe, and the delegates now are moving into their hotels where they're going to be accommodated for the rest of the conference. This demonstrates the testament of discipline, commitment, and organizational discipline that we have since inception. And we can tell you now that when we're saying there's no incident, including amongst delegates themselves as they were traveling on those buses, even the incidents of misbehavior we don't have, we're sitting at 0. So there's no negative paparazzi that's going to take place. In terms of the program, this afternoon the CCT will convene its meeting where the credentials will be presented by the Credentials Committee led by the DSG and the Provincial Secretaries. This is a crucial step in ensuring the legitimacy and integrity of the Assembly. Tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, we start with the official program, which will be led by the President and the Commander-in-Chief, who will deliver the political report. This will set the tone of the Assembly and outline our strategic priorities. Following the opening address by the Commander-in-Chief, we will then present and adopt the rules, guidelines, and procedures to the National People's Assembly, and then we'll also present and adopt the credentials to the Assembly to kick away this NPA and to make sure that it's legitimate and it's correcting according to the guidelines and the constitution. On Saturday, we'll commence with the presentation of the organizational report by the Secretary General. It's ready, it's 83,000 words, President. So it's a marathon. Yeah, that's how detailed we are. And after that, we'll have the Treasurer General will present the report, state of the finances of the organization. Then immediately after that, we'll deal with the critical item, which will happen after lunch. This critical item will be convening of the National People's Assembly, the election of the top 6, and the additional members to the Central Command team. It will begin Saturday afternoon. This will be led by the Elections Committee, which it's an independent, it's not the EFF leadership, and that committee will be announced there when we are presenting the rules and the guidelines. And the elections process, the Elections Commission will be led by IMSA, which have been working with us for the longest time. In concurrence with the elections, the commissions will convene. As stated earlier, there are 13 commissions that will convene for this year's assembly, which the discussions is what we've outlined and we've released to the members of the media for the longest time. As a result of these engagement, proposals will be made, which will eventually become the resolutions that will solidify and define the program of action for the EFF for the next 5 years. And then lastly, it is important to note that amidst these crucial activities, commissions will periodically step out to engage with the members of the media to give the progress report on the discussions on various commissions. So those that have been given that responsibility to commissions during the course of the conference, they're going to be sitting and taking the media through on what is currently happening behind the commission rooms. And then on Sunday, the 15th, we'll receive the declaration and the acceptance speech on the newly elected CCT, and that closing address will be done by the newly elected president and the commander-in-chief of the EFF. That is where we are, members of the media and people of South Africa, and delegates and members of the EFF that are not here with us today. The NPA, the third NPA, is ready to sit. Everything is moving smoothly, including the authorities in terms of access to roads. All of them, they are in place. Everything has been signed off, including the venue and everything else. Thank you very much. That's all.
Thank you, outgoing Secretary General. Over to you, media. You all are looking beautiful today, but not as beautiful as our third National People's Assembly, just so you know. So let's do take some questions. Let's take some questions. I think let's just go row by row, right? So I'm going to identify hands as I go forward like this, and we'll do this first row, then we'll take the second row, and then the third row, so we don't get disruptive. So we have number 1. You remember your numbers, please. Number 2. Anybody else? Number 3. Anybody else in this row? Can we close number 3? So let's go to row number 2. Anybody in row number 2? Anyone in row number 3? Because you're going to come back hard in the second round because you'll wait to be warmed up. Okay, let's go. Number 1.
Good afternoon, Shannon Merricks from Kasi Broadcasting Africa. I think the Central Command team must be feeling very excited because there's order at the NPA. We've not seen anything, as the SG said, on social media about accidents, alcohol or incidents. But in the city of Joburg, the EFF have a MMC of safety doing a good job. The roads are clean, everything. So do you think it was a good idea to go into a coalition in city of Joburg? I'll come back second round. Thank you.
Salailo Makwidiri here from Salam Media. Mine is a simple one. Just considering the EFF's 10-year history and considering the current state of affairs, how important would you say a successful third National People's Assembly is? And secondly, congratulations and well wishes are coming from all over for the economic freedom fighters, one in particular coming from the MK. How do you receive those well wishes? Thanks.
Thank you. Number 3. No, we've got a mic.
Gert van der Westhuizen from Netwerk 24. I've got to ask you this question. It's D-Day tomorrow for the Bella Bill. What will you do if there isn't any solution about the bill, and if it's not implemented, what steps do you consider for that?
Okay. I'll hand over to the officials. We have 3 questions, eh?
That's all. No, thank you very
We'll
much.
take one more round afterwards.
I think the first issue is that we just want to inform the public and our members and everyone else is that this NP, all of it is going to be live streamed on our media platform uninterrupted. So the whole 24-hour operation is uninterrupted, except those times where we've got closed sessions, but everything else is open session. I know they are interested on the elections. Those ones are not a secret, it's an open session. So media will be in, but will be live streamed throughout. So if the normal media platforms, they are busy with other issues, you must know that the EFF platforms will be running throughout 100%. The coalition with the city of Johannesburg, we are very happy with our MMC. He's doing a good job. He now is busy handling all the access up to this and still taking his responsibility, making and ensuring that the city of Johannesburg is safe. So we are still happy. The mayor that is there, as we've said in the last press conference, we are happy. We continue to engage. He's not arrogant about his position. He continues to engage the organization. So far, we are good. The third NPA success, it will be the robust discussions that are going to take place in the commissions, in the plenary, because as we are here, we are handing over this organization back to its owners, which are the delegates. And as we said, that we've got quality delegates that are here with the mandate coming from their branches, with the mandate coming from their provinces, because they went to see the provincial general assemblies. So we are confident that when we come out of here, the EFF will be stronger and it will rise and take its rightful position to lead the society and the country at large. So that's what we're looking at, and we're not going to sit here and say this. We've got it's on the constitutional amendments. The delegates have got it. It's going to be a robust debate. I know for a fact that on all those 3 that we're going to be dealing with, it's going to be there. So all we're looking at is that the success of this is that the delegates themselves, they know that they don't represent themselves. They represent the branches, the people of South Africa, and the voters of the EFF. So the quality, the discipline, and everything else is going to be the order of the day, so that when we come out with the resolutions, they are a clear program of action which is implementable, believable, and we know that it's practical. It's not something that is somewhere in the sky. So we are confident that we'll come back to that. The issue of the Bella Bill, it must be signed. If it's not signed, as you know that this organization, it's a protest movement. We'll go back to the picket lines. That's our home. And we'll push until that Bella Bill is signed with no amendment coming from the DA or anyone else. It must be signed as it is. So whoever is responsible, if Cyril is responsible, he better sign, because once we leave this NPA, the whole country will feel the might of the EFF. We are ready to take it on the ground. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to do one last round. This time I'm going to start from the back if there's any hands. Okay, let's start off with Newsroom Africa. Anybody in the row, the 3rd row from the front? You number 2 in the green, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6. I've covered everybody, yes? Okay, let's go. Number 1.
Okay, Junior Khumalo from Newsroom Africa. Firstly, can we just get some clarity on the voting delegates when it comes to KwaZulu-Natal and the Western Cape? there is this understanding that not all branches are going to be represented in terms of the voting delegates. I know the president of the EFF has clarified this before, the reason why. Just to get another explanation on, is it because of the electoral laws, or is it because they don't have the number, the right number of individuals that, I think it's about 100 per branch that you had wanted for each branch to be allowed to have a delegate? Just clarity on that. And I think my colleague asked about the well wishes that you've received from the MK party. I know it's a bit of a detour from what is going to be happening here, but the MK party has invited the EFF to its anniversary celebration. Will the EFF leadership be going to that celebration? Thank you.
Okay, number 2.
Okay, my second question, Anastasia Mkhobu, Jacaranda FM News. My second question was covered by my colleague Junior, is regarding the invitation that comes from the MK party. SG, I don't know if you received it or is it only for us, the media. They have an anniversary rally, so they say they've invited the EFF as part of the Progressive Caucus. Are you able to send perhaps a representation there? And my second question is for TG. If you're able to go into numbers, how much is it being spent or has been budgeted for this entire conference? And what are the main objectives that you're actually hoping to get outside of the voting and other commissions, and also in preparation for the local government elections? Thank you.
Number 3. Where's the mic?
Hi, good afternoon. Alpha Ramushwana here from Eyewitness News. I've also been partly covered, but I was reading your discussion documents and you mentioned something quite interesting, that the EFF is not really happy with constitutional supremacy in the country, and hinting that you might prefer parliamentary sovereignty. That is according to your discussion documents that I have been reading. You can go through them, CIC.
I know it. You can't say I know.
So please give clarity on what you were saying about constitutional supremacy in your discussion documents, because you briefly mentioned examples saying that you might not be entirely happy with the current form of constitutional supremacy in this country. Thank you.
Number 4. We need to move quicker with the mics, please. We've got 3 mics. BJ, can you come and assist with another mic, please? We need a mic. Put it on.
Thank you. Kgothatso Marisa from the Sunday Times. Hopefully we don't have a repeat of what happened in 2019 when we were here. I asked the question and the CIC went into a full-blown attack on me, but hopefully we do better this time around. I think briefly, are you in a position to share what the nominations from the branch levels look like? If it's something you're able to share, whether there's anyone who has disqualified, but yeah, just the information on that. And then maybe secondly, just how important would you say this NPA is in ensuring that the EFF claws back, that small number of votes that you've lost, especially given the comments that you've made that, it seems like you're under attack, especially from the NPA, who seems to be from the MK, who seems to be, fishing in your pond of leadership. Just how important is it, especially going into the 2026 local government elections? Thank you.
Number 5, Ovi.
I'm Anissa Isak from Radio Islam International. My question would be to Mr. Malema. I read an article, I think it was Mr. Groete that wrote the article, and he was quite caustic in some of the questions that he posed in the article about you in specific. And I'd like to know, he spoke about EQ and how you would deal with criticism. What would you say to that particular question if I had to ask you as a reporter now, how would you deal with criticism coming from the NPA, members of the NPA, as well as other parties that are here in South Africa?
Number 6.
Hello. Good afternoon. My name is Lunga, and I'm from the Mail and Guardian. I'm going to ask for the same courtesy as Khutato to say, hey, today, can you please slow down? Yes. Look, I just want to hear from you, CIC, that as the leadership, obviously, term is coming to an end, what are some of those positive that you take from the, I think, the second administration going to the third administration, and what mistakes do you think should be fixed going to the third term leadership? And lastly, the issue of contestation. Are you hoping to amend the issue to say maybe how many times maybe a CIC can contest an election, things like that? Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think we didn't have number 7. We're done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Western Cape, they've got about 75 voting delegates and KZN 14. And the guidelines that were adopted by the CCT is that the voting delegates, the branches that qualify to have voting delegates, are the ones that have received the votes or electoral support in the 2024 provincial and national elections that are 10% and above. And this is what the Western Cape as well as KZN received. So, and the reason we took that decision is that part of what we do in the EFF, it's we've got a system where we want to reorganize ourselves, even the message that goes to our structures in terms of accountability and hard work, that all of us, when we're given responsibilities, BCT at a branch level, they've got a responsibility to work hard, because what brings us together to be members and leaders of the EFF is the service to the organization and to our people. And that comes from hard work and making sure that you are found in between our communities. They've got trust in you as the leadership at branch levels. So what we're doing, this is not a punitive exercise, it's a corrective exercise to say, as branches going forward, there are minimum standards that we must have. And part of that is that at least you must reach 10% of the electorate. We want to win all those wards, but at least you can't fail and then go below 10%. It means the structure or the activists of the EFF are not busy with the community issues. They are busy with something else. So we want to redirect them so that everything else going forward, they know that their responsibility is to make sure that they service the communities, because you don't get those votes simply because the communities, they don't know you. You've not serviced them enough. So it's a corrective measure that the CCT has taken, and that's how they're going to that's how we're going to end the status of being a voting delegate in this conference. So we said on Western Cape and KZN, as I was saying, that it's not a punitive approach, it's a corrective approach. We've got branches, and as the constitution of the EFF, it says a branch is made of a minimum of 100 members. So these additional branches that are coming from KZN, about 250, and about 112 from Western Cape, those branches, they've got a minimum of 100 votes that they received. So it shows that the members of the EFF, they exist, they went to vote, they just lost focus on making sure that they blend with the communities. But those branches, they exist. So those branches are coming, but as non-voting delegates, because it's a conference of the EFF, they must come and make their contribution, but they can't and enjoy the same status as the hard-working branches. So they must feel it here that if we don't work hard, come the NPA of 2024, it might be even difficult. Maybe they might be here and say, yeah, you're going to watch from TV in UJ. You're not going to come to Nazareth, so that they know that that's what we are dealing with. But the issue is that's the approach, corrective approach of our own branches, redirecting them to their responsibility of being among communities and making sure that they are activists that champion the issues of our communities and deal with those issues. The well wishes, we've got them from different political parties, UDM and ATM and everyone else. I don't have a letter from MK President. So they put it on media, and we're not going to the rally of MK. TG will respond on the issues of the budget. The discussion documents, I think we are confusing us with MK. We are an organization that believes in the constitution of the country, the democracy of this country. That's why everything else that we do, as the EFF, we always say that everything that we do on our daily basis on the existence of this organization is for the interest of people of South Africa. So that's what we're focusing on. Don't know if that's the 20. The nominations from branches, our guidelines, the nominations will take place inside the plenary. So we don't have nominations that are coming from branches or anywhere else. Once we're inside the plenary and the elections committee have taken over, they will call for that nominations, and nominations will take place from there, and everything else will follow according to the rules, the procedures that we have adopted for this NPA. Look, yes, we are coming here to rebuild, to defend, to rebuild, and to advance the struggle for economic freedom. And part of doing that is to reflect honestly self-criticism, that we're going to be dealing with it so that we can go and regain the lost ground. We're not happy with our performance in KZN, and we've said it, and we went even to KZN as leadership to engage with our members. Themselves, they know that we're not happy with the status. We lost some votes in Gauteng, but everywhere else in the country, we've retained our votes, and we're happy with the base, because in the 10 years, we've built a solid base that cannot be shaken easily, and that is what has defended the organization. But part of what we're going to be dealing with now is to have a program of action that will take us to victory, because victory has to be delivered. So we're going to engage on the issue. It's part of the organizational report. We're going to be giving the delegates the actual outcomes in our own assessment of what happens, and the delegates will engage on the organizational report. The CIC will deal with the criticism that he wants to deal with. I don't know what criticism you're talking about, because he's permanently engaging the members of the media, and he responds where things are needed to be responded to, decisively so. So I don't know, but the criticism that is coming from our opponents, that one, since the day the EFF was born in 26 July 2013, they were there. So it's a permanent game. We're in a space that is contested, and obviously the criticism is the face of the organization, is our current president. It has to be directed to him, because they know that if they direct it to president, they're speaking to all of us. So that some of that criticism is not on him at a personal level. As leaders of the EFF, we know that it's our criticism, we have to deal with it. But he has never been shy to deal with responding and accountability on anything. I think part of what is on the organizational report is that historic media briefing where he called all of you to say, come and ask any question. And you asked as far as going to the wallet. So I don't know if there's a place where he has never arrived on dealing with the issues of criticism and taking accountability as a leader of the organization. As I said, that we have made inroads. We have worked hard. Part of our areas that we're proud of, it's work that was done by our labor desk. You know that the unions in this country have collapsed, and all of them, they are making noise waiting to be deployed in that GNU. So the EFF took the center stage in the last 5 years and resolved a lot of issues that were in relation to labor exploitation in the farms, in the factories, and everywhere else. And we're very proud of the work that we have done. The GPV desk, it did extremely well as well, dealing with the issues that are pandemic in this country, the scourge against gender-based violence, and we worked on it. So if you're saying what are the positives and the mistakes, we accept the issue that the losses that we had, especially in KZN, because that's where it affected even our national outcome because of the votes that we lost there. And we're going to deal with that without any apology or trying to cover it. That's what we're here today. That's what this weekend is about. But there are positives that came out. We had the biggest congregation of political activists, leaders, business people, and everyone here next door when we celebrated our 10th anniversary. We have stood firm. We're 11 years and we are still going strong. And from here, we're going to be doubling our effort and we're moving. We're happy with the conduct of our branches, of our regions, of our province. In this term, we had branches, 4,000 meetings of BPAs and BGAs where leadership were elected at branch level, not even one incident of fighters fighting each other or destroying the material of the organization. We've ran a solid machine. We had 53 regional people's assemblies where the regional leaders, the mandate was the mandate that they were given as per our constitution. It had to be renewed. They had to go to their own regional people's assemblies. All of them, they took place with maximum discipline. We never had one that gets postponed because the delegates or leaders are fighting or anything. Once we set a date and time, our meetings, they sit. We had the 9 provincial people's assemblies. Leaders were elected. They are currently leading. Same story. All of them on the date and the time that the CCT has issued, and they sit and then they finish without any incident. And that is a sign of a strong and solid organization, and we're very proud of that. So we're fine. The contestation, we're here. That time is going to come, and the constitution of the EFF, it says every member of the EFF in good standing has got a right to vote and to be voted for. And those members in good standing, they are here and they will handle that matter. Thank you.
The question is to, I think it was from EWN on the nominations of branches, if branches nominated members of the
No, I responded. I said nominations, they're taking place inside plenary. We don't have nominations coming from branches. Once they are here, the nominations will take place, and those that are nominated will be given a responsibility of availing themselves or not availing themselves.
Okay. And then I think we had a question for TJ.
TJ, I'm not sure if he's got numbers. It's very difficult. TJ, do you have numbers? Because as things stand, it's very difficult. This organization of the people, and we've been like that since the last 11 years. You know, we don't have a wide monopoly capital funding or anything. We just keep moving. So I'm not sure, TJ, if you've got, as where I'm standing, as someone who was leading the preparations here, I don't think there are numbers. But I think once we are done, we'll sit and appreciate the donors like we did in our 10th anniversary, where it was carried by our donors, sympathizers, members, and leaders of the EFF and business people that have been with us since the last 11 years, and they are still with us now, even against terror and intimidation and threats from the establishment. But they remain with us, and they are the ones who have carried us up to where we are today. We are still in that process, so I don't think there's consolidation that has been done, but we are standing and we are being carried by those that have been carrying the EFF since day one, which is our members and voters and sympathizers and everyone else, and we continue to appreciate them. I'm sure the President at the right time with the TG, once the TG give us a report, President will be able to speak to them, and like we do Ubuntu to say siyabonga ukuthi nisibhekelele nibe nathi kuze kube namanje. Siyabonga TG.
And that concludes our media briefing today on the state of readiness. We are going to release our officials.
No, we're going to, we're going to do just a walkabout to show you that this state of readiness is real. So that you must not say that they said they are ready, we didn't see anything. So we'll do a quick walkabout and then we'll release you. Thank you very much.
Okay.